Gotta relax.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Human music. I like it. 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 Gotta relax.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Gotta relax.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. Gotta relax.
This is Earth Radio. And now here's human music.
Human music. I like it. I like it. I like it.
Hello, and we are here. It is Monday, so it is time for Rhevs Palaver. How about we turn off the background music, the loading screen, as it were, the loading music. So, I'm trying something a little bit different today. Hello, Eddykins. Thank you for stopping in. Normally, my Rhevs Palaver, well, as Eddykins knows, and since I think he's the only one here, he's the only one I'm talking to. Normally, Rhevs Palaver is me talking to a guest, which I love. I love doing that. But since I started doing this, I thought to myself, one of these days I'm going to have to do a solo cast. I'm going to have to, sort of try it out and get in the habit of just talking to you, the viewers. And I've done it once or twice before, but never on my official night. So one of the things I did was way back when Hearthstone had announced the current expansion to Hearthstone called Journey to Ungoro, which you can see right here, the logo up there. I did about a 2.5-hour podcast where I looked at all of the cards and gave my thoughts on the cards they had revealed and what the power level was going to be, and if I thought card X was going to be good or if card Y was going to be bad or what have you. So that was about a 2.5-hour podcast, but I did that on a Sunday. I didn't do it at my normal time. As I said, one of the things I kind of wanted to do was try to do this at my normal time, normal Rhevs Palaver, and do a solo podcast. And I thought, what better way to do it than revisit the idea that I had of reviewing the Ungoro cards, because they've announced Knights of the Frozen Throne as the next expansion, and they've given out 1 or 2 teaser cards, and they said that I think it's going to be another few weeks before they start really releasing the sets for everyone to look at. And once all the cards are released, I'd like to do this again. I'd like to do another thing where I review the cards and then make prediction based on whether or not it's going to be good or going to be bad or what have you. So I thought, what better way to get ready for that, the Knights of the Frozen Throne cards coming out, than to go back and look at my previous predictions. And I did. This weekend I sat through the entire 2.5-hour podcast and took notes on my own predictions. And some of them I nailed. Some of them I got dead on. I was like, this is a great card. This is going to be used, blah, blah, blah. This will help the meta by blah, blah, blah. Or, this card won't be used. It's not very good, blah, blah, blah. And then there are some cards I whiffed on. I took a big swing and missed. And that's what we're going to do tonight. We're going to look at the cards that I predicted would be either good or bad, and was I wrong? So you guys can laugh at me and make fun of me. And next week we'll go back to having the normal setup where it's me talking to a guest. But like I said, I wanted to do this, and I will probably do another Knights of the Frozen Throne style prediction when the full list of Knights of the Frozen Throne comes out for any Hearthstone fans. Yep. And Meeseeks has still not announced my thing live in Discord. I don't know why, but that's okay. So I guess that's enough faffing about, as it were, and we're going to go ahead and start this up. And Addykins, if you want to help me and let me know what the sound levels are like, I would really appreciate it. So let's take a look. I've got 15 cards. 15 cards that I predicted wrong. There's 1 or 2 in there that I was like, blah, blah, on, and then it was, I was close. But, yeah, so 15 cards. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first card that I incorrectly predicted. Bittertide Hydra. It's a big 8/8 for 5 mana. It's worth noting that it's a beast, so that's going to work out fairly well for beast synergy among druids and hunters. To give them a big 8/8 minion at 5 mana seems pretty good. Now, of course, it does have the drawback: whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to your hero. I don't think that that's going to be a big detractor for this card. So, I think that one's pretty good. So I said Bittertide Hydra was going to have beast synergy. The 3-point drawback from taking whenever it took damage, it did damage to your hero. Probably wasn't going to be a big deal, I said. Let me just back it up just a little bit. There we go. I said it probably wasn't going to be that big a deal. And I said the card was going to be pretty good. I was wrong on all 3 counts. I overestimated what beast synergy would be in this expansion. Hunter was getting a lot of beast cards, and with Dinomancy, I thought, oh, giving it another +2 is going to make it even more powerful. And no. In fact, the only real beast synergy you see from it... Hey, Zale, how's it going? The only real beast synergy you saw from Bittertide Hydra came off of cards like Stampede and Jeweled Macaw, and it was negative beast synergy. You don't want Bittertide Hydra. Bittertide Hydra is garbage. Bittertide Hydra loses you games. It is a terrible card to draw and an even worse card to play. In the best of situations, if you've got Bittertide Hydra in your deck, you're already dominating the board. You've got a board with 3 or 4 minions at least, and you can play this when your opponent has no minions. That's the best case scenario. In any other situation, it's bad to play. And if it's a bad card to play and you draw it, that means you just drew a dead card. So I completely misjudged the power level of Bittertide Hydra. I thought it was going to be a good card. In all honesty, 90% of the games I've played where I have a Bittertide Hydra in my deck, it sits in my hand because I don't dare play it. And the other 10% of the times, I play it and then it kills me. Because an opponent can run a 1 damage minion into this, and instead of dealing 1 damage to my face, that automatically gets converted into 3 damage to my face. If he runs 5 minions into it, that's 15 goddamn damage to your face. That's half your health gone. So, alright, Zale, thanks for stopping by, buddy. So, Bittertide Hydra was, without a doubt, my first prediction, and it was wrong. So wrong. Terribly wrong. So, I feel kind of dumb about that one, and let's go ahead and move on to the next one. So the second card that I predicted incorrectly... oh, thanks for the host, Rock and Rage. Charged Devilsaur. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't think it's very good. Might see some play in Arena, but I think it's too expensive. Yeah, I think it's too expensive for a 7/7. I understand if it was 8 mana 7/7 charge without the battle cry, it might see some play. Being able to 7 mana or 7 damage straight to a hero face is a lot different than being able to 7 mana straight to a minion. Let's face it, even if you're on turn 10, dropping this means you can drop this and then what? Hero power? Play an elemental maybe? Yeah, I don't see this. I don't see this one having a lot of play. I think it's unfortunately just too expensive for its value. Too expensive. I'm gonna move on. I don't think it's great. Yeah, so as you can see, I got caught up. Let me just give a quick shout out to Rock and Rage for hosting me. Thank you very much, Rock. Rock and Rage. As you heard, I got very caught up in the value of this card. I didn't see the true potential value, and I didn't realize all of the combos that would come around about this. Now, there was one point that I got a little bit right. I said that this card might be valuable in arena play, and it is. This thing is an ace in the hole in arena. You play this on turn 8, you can wipe out your opponent's turn 7 or turn 8 play and absolutely shift the game state. And a lot of times you can do it and still have this a creature alive that has 7 attack and a couple points of health. So I misvalued how powerful this card was going to be. The other thing I didn't think of is that it's not that it can't attack heroes the turn it comes into play. It's Battle Cry cannot attack heroes. The fact that that is worded that way makes a huge difference. What that means is this is an extremely powerful card in the hands of a priest. Why? Why, you say? Well, very simple. You've got Forbidden Shaping, drop it at 8 mana, and now with the rotation where they rotated out all the old cards, there's not that many 8-drops left in the game. Comparative to how it was before Ungoro, your chance of getting a good 8-drop off of an 8-mana Forbidden Shaping is really high. And this is one of them. And if you Forbidden Shaping it, it doesn't have the Battle Cry. So it is a 7/7 charge that can hit your opponent's face. That's really great. On top of that, if a priest resurrects it with, let's say, the Bishop card, or Free from Amber. Free from Amber can hit an 8, a 9, or a 10 drop. It can hit this, boom, 7/7 charge. I greatly misvalued this guy. I didn't foresee how useful it would be, and this is going to be a theme that you'll see with some of these cards, because I didn't take into account all of the cards that were rotating out of the standard rotation. And that really does make a big difference. So, I fucked up on that one. Yeah, I really fucked up on that one. Now, the other thing, too, is...
I'm going to move on. I don't think it's great.
I've actually played Charged Devil Sword quite a bit in Arena. It is a hero in Arena. It is amazing.
I think this card's shit. And that's all there is to say about it. Playing a 3-drop with 1 health? No. I mean, the stat line... There's 3-1... Well, there's 2 1s and there's 1 3s in the game currently that cost 1 mana. So 3-1 at 3 mana, the death rattle doesn't make up for it. I don't see this seeing a lot of play. I think it just kind of sucks. The stickiness of the Raptors not going to make up for the mana cost. If that was a 2-drop, it'd be good, but at 3, it's terrible.
Okay. So I said, I think this card sucks and it's not going to see play. This card not only saw play, there's a deck designed partially around this card. It's called Egg Druid. This card actually ended up being so useful and so versatile that it spawned a new deck type. People don't usually call it Egg Druid anymore. They call it Token Druid, and it sees competitive level play at the highest levels of Hearthstone. I like to watch Hearthstone championships and tournaments, and yeah, Token Druid, or what used to be called Egg Druid, is a viable and useful deck that can win you tournaments and get you national titles. So I was extremely wrong about the value of it as a sticky minion dropping two Raptors. Now, I also said that I didn't like... this isn't on my list, but there's another card called Sated Threshodon that spawns 3 1/1 Murlocs, and I gave the reason that I didn't like that card much as the same as Egg Druid, or Egg Napper. But the difference is... Sated Threshodon is a 7-mana card. This is 3, and that makes all the difference in the world. Oh, Meeseeks finally announced that I was live. Thanks a lot, Meeseeks. Thanks a lot. Only 17 minutes late. Yeah, so that's where that's why I didn't put Sated Threshodon on the list, whereas I did with Egg Napper. Sated Threshodon as a 7-drop occupies an entirely different game space in the meta than Egg Napper does. But for druids that play Token Druid decks, being able to play this on turn 3, it's a great curve out card. Yeah, it only has 1 health. I get that. But it does have 3 attack, and 3 attack means on turn 4, you can rush it into something, get your 1/1s, and then start playing your buff cards. So as I said, it's just laughable. I said this card isn't going to see play, and it actually spawned an entire deck archetype. So I was wrong. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
I think it just kind of sucks. The stickiness of the Raptors not going to make up for the mana cost. If that was a 2-drop, it'd be good.
We heard that one.
Primordial Drake. 8 mana, 4/8, taunt, battle cry, deal 2 damage to all their minions. I kind of like it. Again, the cost seems really high for only a 4 attack taunt. But I think the battle cry sort of makes up for it.
Okay, so I am willing to give myself a partial right on this. I did say that I liked it. I did say that I liked this card. Okay, but I said that the cost was too high. And if you go back and watch the full thing, I actually talked about it quite a bit more. No Game of Thrones yet. Damn it, Game of Thrones. Yeah, so I'm going to give myself partially right on this one. I was a little bit right. And if you do watch the full video, I kind of talk about some of its potential strengths. But I did not know how game dominating Primordial Drake would be. Dealing 2 damage to all minions gives, as a neutral card, gives every class a potential small board clear. I misvalued the battle cry of the minion. Very few decks that have big minions in the current meta don't put in Primordial Drake. It is a great late game minion. If you can play around it, use some of your minions to ping some of his guys down to 2 life, you can get a board clear and get a big 4/8 on the board. Well, 4 damage isn't a lot. 4 damage might not be a lot on turn 8, 9, 10, and beyond. 8 health, taunt is. That allows you to reset your back line, or if you were able to keep alive your minions and clear his board, you've got your minions behind a nice 8 health wall now. And so what's he going to do? He's going to play something to try to get through Primordial Drake, and then that gives you an extra turn to start hitting face or to keep the board clear or what have you. So even though when I originally did the review for this card, I did kind of like hem and haw on it a little bit. I didn't know how amazingly powerful this card was going to be. And it also was worth noting that as the only dragon in the entire expansion, anyone who plays any dragon archetype, which is basically just Dragon Priest anymore, you're using this one. You have to. So, also Curator. It's a great fetch card for Curator, since there are so few dragons left in the meta and so few really good ones, other than the classics like Nozdormu and Onyxia and Ysera, Deathwing. Curator will fetch you your Primordial Drake. When you play it on turn 7, you drop your Curator, you get a beast, you get this, whatever, and then there's your turn 8 play. So yeah, I misjudged how powerful Primordial Drake was going to be. That's why it is on my list. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Whoops, I went a little too far. I think I went a little too far. Tortolan Primalist.
I think the battle cry sort of makes up for it. Tortolan Primalist. Discover a spell and cast with random targets. This would be great if it was 6 mana. Otherwise, it sucks. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. 8 mana is ridiculous. Maybe even at 7 mana, you might get lucky and you're really desperate for a board clear, but you don't have a board clear. You get 8 mana and you draw into Flame Strike or Twisting Nether. Maybe even Demon Wrath might be enough to do it, but 8 mana. You're not gonna be able to play this guy till way late. And the random ability, I don't like him. I think he sucks.
Yeah, so with Tortolan Primalist, I even said right in that little message the thing that makes Tortolan Primalist good. Oh, maybe if it was 7 mana, you might draw into a board clear like Flame Strike or Twisting Nether. Yeah, dummy. That's exactly what makes it good. This card has seen a lot of play in Mage decks, and it's also seen quite a bit of play in Arena. And the reason why is because at 8 mana, yes, you discover a card, but that means if you're playing mage, you're going to discover a mage spell. And mage spells, yes, they do have cards like Fireball and, you know, whatever, but they also have a lot of cards that there is no random targeting. Flame Strike, Frost Nova, Blizzard, when those get cast, they get cast on your opponent's minions. End of story. So you play Tortollan Primalist, and then you just look for one of those cards. Or, secrets! If you discover Ice Block, it casts Ice Block on you. There's no random targeting to it. So it's seen quite a bit of play with mages. So it actually, I thought that this card was terrible. I thought it cost too much. I thought it was over. Again, I misjudged the stats. And since it's a discover effect, you get the you get the choice. It's not like Servant of Yogg-Saron, which sees play. It's a discover. Servant of Yogg-Saron, you have no idea what it's going to cast. You have no choice. And people play that. Tortollan Primalist, you get a discovery effect. It's way better than Servant of Yogg-Saron. Costs a little bit more, but especially for cards like, or for classes like Mage, they don't have a lot of big minions. A 5/4 on the board after casting a Flame Strike is a huge game-shifting play. So it's, for 8 mana, it's a huge game-shifting play. So I misjudged that one.
Vicious Fledgling. After this minion attacks a hero, adapt. Probably not going to be super. It's kind of like mid-tier value.
Mid-tier.
You play this on 3. Next turn, you attack with it. If you hit the opponent's face, you could, and maybe you get Wind Fury. Boom, hit him again for another 3. That's a lot of value. But I don't think that's going to see a lot of play, though. I don't think you're going to see a ton of Vicious Fledgling.
I don't think Vicious Fledgling is going to see a lot of play. I actually said I don't think Vicious Fledgling is going to see a lot of play. I actually said that this was a mid-tier card. This is probably, in my opinion, the most broken card, the most disgusting, cheesy, broken card that came out in Ungoro. And I said, I don't think it's going to see a lot of play. I'm sorry. For the life of me, I did not see the potential there. It's after this minion attacks a hero, adapt. I think what I missed was that it adapts every single time it hits a hero's face. Not just the one time. So we've seen, okay, someone drops this on turn 3. Actually, let me back up there. I've seen in tournament level play where thousands of dollars are on the line. I've seen one team on turn 1 before the other opponent had a chance to do anything, playing a druid, drop an Innervate on turn 1, Vicious Fledgling. Turn 2, hit face, get Wind Fury, and then hit again, get Stealth, and then it steamrolls from there. The next time they attack, it gets +3 health. The next time they attack, they gave it like plus 3 attack or something. It just steamrolls. And by turn 5 or turn 6, you can have like a 21 attack, 6 health, untargetable by spells, Wind Fury that is done literally almost all of the opponent's life in damage on turn 5, and they've got nothing. They have no answers, they have no way to respond, and the game is over. It's an absolutely broken card. It should not be in the game. If it's going to be in the game, it should be a hunter-specific card. That's my firm belief. It's a beast. Hunter's pretty weak still. If this was a hunter-only card, I think it would be fine. But as a neutral minion that can be put into any deck, it is disgusting. I hate it, and I did not see the value in Vicious Fledgling, which just embarrasses me. Let's move on.
this is the Druid Quest.
The first
As
of the
you can
quests?
see, the 5 attack breakpoint seems to be sort of a class defining role for this expansion for Druids. So you play this, and it takes up a spot where the secrets normally go. And when you summon 5 minions with 5 or more attack, you are rewarded with Barnabas. So there's Barnabas. 5 mana, reduce the cost of minions in your deck to 0. That's amazing. That's amazing. I think you're going to see a lot of people try to play this quest to get the mechanic out of the way. And I've built 1 or 2 ramp druid decks in my life. It's a lot easier than you might think. It's just a matter of whether or not it's going to be more powerful than Jade. But Blizzard has said that they want the quest to be overpowered, basically.
Did you hear how smug I sounded? I was like, I've built a couple ramp decks. Yeah, Jungle Giants is, most people would tell you it's the second worst quest that came out in the expansion. I thought this was going to be the tits. I was like, oh my god, this card's so good. It's going to be amazing to be able to play your creatures for 0 mana. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible for multiple reasons. The first and foremost is that it takes way too long. It takes a long time to get those 5 mana or 5 attack minions out onto the board, and you got to play 5 of them. Best case scenario that I've ever seen, I think I've seen someone do it by about turn or 6 with amazing draw. Like, they had amazing draw. They had their wild growths. They had their innervates. They were drawing their high attack minions. They were able to complete the quest. And you want to know what happened? They were dead on turn 7 or 8 to just some other deck. Because the fact of the matter is, getting this complete by turn 6, that doesn't help. Because, okay, then you start drawing, and you're drawing 1 card and playing it for free, but then what are you doing with all that other mana in that you have? Your hand is empty because you've been playing your minions. Your opponent's been answering, and now you're drawing and playing for free and maybe hero powering. It's a terrible, terrible quest, and I misjudged how powerful it was going to be. There are more embarrassing predictions, though.
Really interesting.
Okay, so Dinomancy is the next one. I mentioned I misjudged what the value of beast was gonna be.
Dinomancy. This one's really interesting. Right now, hunters are in one of the worst states, but every pirate warrior you ever play, when they play Sir Finley Merleton, what's their first choice? Is the hunter hero power. Because currently the hunter hero power is great in certain decks, but generally not in hunter decks.
Okay, I'm going to actually just stop it right there. I just said every pirate warrior who plays Sir Finley Merleton, what do they choose? They always choose the hunter hero power. Hello, Rev, you're talking and you're saying the reason why Dinomancy is shit. I predicted that this would be a great card. It's terrible. It's a terrible card. Replacing the hunter hero power is one of the worst things that you can do to the hunter. At least in the current meta, it never works. I make the mistake of thinking, oh, well, giving a beast +2/+2 is better than just doing 2 damage to the face. No, that is not how hunters work. Hunters work by being aggressive, hitting your opponent in the face, not playing a control trade game. Now, thankfully, the Ungoro meta came with a bunch of cards that did allow for hunters to come back into being a viable class through the mid-range hunter deck type, which Dinomancy is not a part of. Being able to play fast, early aggression, mid-game beasts like Savannah Highmane and Kodo, and getting value out of your early game cards, swarming the board, doing a lot of damage early to get them down to 10 life or less, and then surviving to use the Hunter's hero power, Steady Shot, to finish them off is the reason, and the only reason, why Mid-Range Hunter is a viable deck in the current meta. So replacing Steady Shot, the Hunter hero power, with Dinomancy, it's a losing play. And I sorely misjudged the value of Dinomancy. Let's move on. I talk about that for way too long. So again, I misjudged the value of Hunter cards. So the next one,
Hunter's standard hero power of just dealing 2 damage to the enemy's face. Way better.
the next card is another Hunter card that I
Stampede.
overvalued.
This is a pretty good card. Each time you play a beast this turn, add a random beast to your hand. You could easily build an entire deck around this one card. This and Dinomancy that gives your hero power, change your hero power to give beast +2/+2. You could easily build an entire deck archetype around those 2 cards. It's a lot of card cycle potential. So I think that's really powerful, and I think we're going to see the statement of Hunters.
I meant resurgence of Hunter, not restatement. Yeah, so I mentioned you could build a deck around Stampede. I said, oh, you could very easily build a deck around Stampede and Dinomancy. Oh, you can, but it sucks. And the Hunter hero, the Hunter quest that you could also mix into that easily, sucks. I built that deck, and you know what? It's terrible. Best case scenario, you drop this and then play a couple 1-drop beasts and you refill, and then that's it. You're going to get steamrolled by other decks. Hunter currently only works by taking early game fast, going mid-range with bigger beasts, and then hero powering. Dinomancy does not work. The only time it ever really works is if you got 1 extra mana that you're not going to be using that turn, and you can play this and then play whatever you were going to normally do anyways, just to get rid of that 1 extra mana and cycle whatever card you're playing into, whatever beast you're playing into another beast. But the random beast aspect means you might get something good like King Crush, or you might get Stone Toss Spore. It's just, it doesn't work. It's a terrible card. I overvalued it, and I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself. So moving on, we're going to see the Arcanologist. Not impressed. Not a lot of secrets being played. Interesting. I don't think Arcanologist is going to be good, though. I think it's kind of a Yeah, not a lot of secrets being played. That was true. Yeah, that was true. There were not a lot of secrets being played. But you know what Ungoro brought with it? Some really good secrets. Mana Bind. The Mirror Entity. One of the new powerful and very, very, very cheap decks that a new player can build is called Secret Mage. It's a deck designed around playing secrets. Guess what's a key component in it? Arcanologist. Missed out on that one. I thought it sucked. And there's another card coming up that's going to follow the same pattern. Dino Size, 8 mana, set a minion's attack and health to 10. I don't like it. I know it seems like, oh my god, you can make a 10-10. Yeah, and yeah. I could see some value in it being used almost as a heal, but 8 mana means basically you're done with your turn. Now, I think that I know why they did it 8/8 also. They did it 8/8 because, in theory, that way the Paladin could use their hero power, summon a 1/1 silver hand, and blam, pump it up to a 10/10 silver hand. This is, in a sense, it's very much like you could look at this card as summon a 10/10 silver hand recruit. It's good. It's a good card. But especially because of its rarity, I don't know.
I don't know if we'll see a ton of play with it.
I liked it at the very end of that clip. I actually sort of backpedal a little bit, like, it's a good card, but I don't think it's going to see a lot of play. Paladin was in a pretty weak spot before Ungoro. The only real Paladin deck that you saw was... you would occasionally see a gimmicky Dragon Paladin that didn't really quite work out well, and you would see hand buff Paladin. And I guess I kind of was overvaluing hand buff. And I was thinking, well, you know, Paladin already has some decent mid-range minions. I didn't look at all the cards and realize how many cards there were that synergized with Silverhand Recruit. Quite frankly, dropping a Tyrian Fordring on turn 7, and then Lost in the Jungle, which gives you 2 Silverhand Recruits, having a taunt and then 2 1/1s, you drop Dino Size on turn 8 and you hit them with the now 10/10 Silverhand Recruit. It's gotten to the point where if you're playing a Paladin, you don't leave up Silverhand Recruits later in the game. You can't afford to, because you know that they're holding a Dino Size. It's so common. And if they're not, they're holding something that's going to adapt their Silverhand Recruits and give them poisonous. Yeah, I completely misjudged how powerful Paladin was going to become. And I think there's 2 more cards in this list that add to how powerful Paladin has become.
Hydrologist.
And there's one of them.
2/2 battle cry, discover secret. I'm going to put this in the same category as the mage one that discovers secret. Could be good. I don't know. Secret Paladins? Does anyone play Secret Paladins?
Does anyone play Secret Paladins? Well, in Wild, it's like the #1 most winning deck. So, yeah, in Wild, people play Secret Paladins. In Standard, before Ungoro, they didn't. But do you know why they didn't? Because there weren't a lot of great secrets. Do you know what else Ungoro brought besides Hydrologist, which lets you discover a freaking secret? It brought some great secrets. Getaway Kodo alone. Getaway Kodo alone has made the Hydrologist an amazing card generation machine. On top of that, it is Discover. So you have your choice of 3, and you can pick the best one for whatever situation you're in. So just like Arcanologist, I completely misvalued secrets, and that's why I'm an idiot.
Spike Ridge Seed, when I was talking about the Stegodon earlier, I said we'd be circling back to it. Stegodon is a 2/6 neutral beast taunt that has taunt for 4 mana. This card is, you play it on a minion, and the idea is basically your minion hops on the back of the Stegodon and tears off, and now he's got 2/6 more stats, and he's got taunt. And if the minion dies, then you just get the Stegodon, which is a 2/6 with taunt. I like it thematically. I don't like its power cost. I feel like this would be a lot better as a 5-drop than a 6-drop. The reason I feel that is since Stegodon itself is a 4-drop, and this spell would require you to play it on another creature, give it 1 more mana cost. I don't think 2 is right.
Yeah, so Spike Ridge Steed. I mentioned earlier that Vicious Fledgling is the most broken and most overpowered card in the Ungoro meta. Spike Ridge Steed, on the other hand, comes in a pretty close second. This card alone will dictate how well you do in Arena if you're playing Paladin. This card alone. If you are playing Arena and you somehow manage to draft 3 of these, you've got a 12-win deck. I don't even care what the rest of your deck is. As long as you draft your deck decently, with 3 Spiked Ridge Steeds, you've pretty much won Arena with that deck. Yeah, it costs 6 mana, but it's not that it's 6 mana and it gives you a 2/6 taunt. It creates an incredible amount of stickiness that your opponent has to get through. Even if they board clear, even if they fireball or meteor or whatever your minion that you put this on, they still have to deal with another 2/6 minion with taunt before they can get to your face. The insane value on that is hard to overstate. When you throw this on something like a Wicker Flame Bristleburn, to have a 4/8 taunt Divine Shield minion that heals you for every point of damage it does, if you can play that late game, like if you can wait till turn 8, drop the Bristleburn, and then put this on it, you're almost guaranteed at least, 16 points of healing? I've seen some absolutely disgusting plays of Spike-Through Steed. The fact that it creates a level of stickiness on the board that creates a defensive wall with a taunt, and then after it dies, creates another defensive wall with taunt. It's very, very hard to deal with. This card is not the most broken card in the meta, but it is one of the most, right behind Vicious Fledgling. And it has single-handedly made Paladin a top-tier class for Arena at the very least. So let's move on.
And I don't think Lyra the Sunshard. This is Priest Legendary Minion, and I have to say, to me personally, it's probably the least impressive of the legendary minions in this expansion. Whenever you cast a spell, add a random priest spell to your hand. The problem is there's a lot of shitty priest spells, and this is only going to get a lot of value if you really play around it. Saving your low cost priest spells to play, it's just a little underwhelming. That's all. I think you're going to see a lot of you're going to see some people that really come up with some nice combos with this. I'm not saying it's a bad card. I'm just saying it's underwhelming, and in my opinion, it's the least impressive of the priest cards.
Yeah, I called it the least impressive legendary minion in Ungoro, and the least impressive of the priest cards that were shown. I was so wrong on both counts. Arguably, it's the most impressive legendary minion that was released in Ungoro. What the hell did I think was a better legendary minion than this? Sherazin? The Vorax? Like, come on! Like, really? This is without a doubt the best legendary minion that has come out in Ungoro, and I thought it was the least impressive. Yeah, it's only 3/5, but what it does is it creates a real sense of urgency in anyone playing against it. To watch a priest sit there and cycle card after card after card after card. They can drop, they can give this 2 health and draw another card, and then they get a card from this. They can Inner Fire it. They can Divine Spirit it. They can, all of a sudden, Lyra can create a massive board shift and help refill your hand and help you draw even more. Lyra is one of those cards, when it hits the board, people do everything in their power to kill it immediately. Especially when paired with something like Gadgetzan Auctioneer. It is just disgusting. It is disgusting. I've seen someone go from 2 or 3 priests go from 2 or 3 cards in hand to a full hand and a massive monster of a Lyra on board. I misjudged Lyra the Sunshard immensely. I thought it was the least impressive legendary minion in Ungoro, and I could not have been more wrong. It is by far the most impressive.
So this is the Rogue Quest. The caverns below play 4 minions with the same name. Shouldn't be too hard for a rogue to do, with their duplicates and whatnot. Summon and unsummon and resummon it, etc. What the Crystal Core does is it makes all of your minions 5/5. It's a good quest. It's interesting. I think you build a deck around it. It's going to be very interesting. The one thing, however, is keeping in mind that the Druid quest and Druid sort of archetype for this is 5 attack minions. So you're going to have a lot of minions that'll be running into Druid cards and dying.
Okay. So I've said arguably that Vicious Fledgling is the most broken card in the Ungoro meta. Yeah. But a lot of people would say it's the Caverns Below. Again, when I looked at Jungle Giants, the Druid quest, I was like, oh my god, this card's so good. And here you see me referencing it again, being like, oh yeah, but the Druid quest is so good that, you know, a bunch of 5/5 minions. No. This fucking card is so bad and so broken that it became the most degenerate deck that we've ever seen in Hearthstone. This is the only card that Blizzard has nerfed from the Ungoro expansion. Every other card has remained untouched. This card got nerfed. They changed it from play 4 minions to play 5 minions because people were completing the quest on turn 4, playing it on turn 5, and then playing a bunch of 1-drop charge minions and literally one-shotting people. And games were ending by turn 5. So if you remember when I was talking about Jungle Giants, the Druid quest, I was like, oh yeah, well, it sometimes takes up to turn 8 before you can really complete the quest. Yeah, not when you're playing against a quest rogue. And even if the quest rogue gets a bad draw, by turn 8 or 9, they've got it done. So by about the same time so the same time that a druid's got his quest done, so does the rogue. And the difference is, yeah, you know, your minions are now being played for 0 mana, but theirs are being played for 1 mana. And on turn 8, the difference means nothing. And the rogue has a lot of other abilities, like chargers and eviscerates and envenom weapon that they can use to take out your big minions, while his 5/5s pound the shit out of your face. So this was a big misprediction. This was a big one. But it wasn't my worst misprediction, which I believe is coming up next. My worst prediction for Ungoro was
Lakari's Sacrifice. This is the Warlock quest. It's amazing. You discard 6 cards. That should be fairly easy to do if you're building the deck around it. And the reward is Nether Portal. Nether Portal takes up a minion slot on your board, but it cannot be destroyed. There is no way to get rid of it. Once it's in play, that's it. It is in fucking play. The designers have tried everything to try to get rid of it once it's summoned. They said literally the only way to get rid of it is to end the game. That's it. Once it's in play, it's in play. You're never getting rid of a Nether Portal. That being said, what it does is the Nether Portal will summon 2 3/2 imps every turn. So, massive value. I like it a lot.
So, that was my last card that I wanted to talk about. Let me just pull it back up just so we can look at it. Yeah, 3/2. It summons 2 imps every single turn that are 3/2. At the end of your turn, it summons 2 3/2 imps. But by the time you've discarded 6 cards, it's turn 7 or 8. Best case scenario. You might, possibly, if you're very lucky on draws and on random discards, you might get this done as early as turn 6. Okay. Let's say you do really good. You've discarded 6 cards by turn 6. All right. Now you've discarded 6 cards. Your deck is 6 cards weaker. That is 6 cards that is out of your hand. And even if you're using your hero power every turn, that's 12 damage you've taken just to replace cards that you've discarded. That alone means that it's not worth 2 relatively weak minions every turn, especially with the high health value of a lot of cards. So those 3/2 imps, even if they're around, you'll trade both of them in to a Spiked Ridge Steed that someone plays. Just a common card. They just drop, not even a Spiked Ridge Steed. I'm sorry. A Stegodon. So let's say someone plays Spiked Ridge Steed on something else, and then you kill that something else, and now there's a Stegodon in play. All right, those 2 imps that you have, you trade them in just to get rid of that one card. The value from Nether Portal is garbage. So much so to the point that I actually tried to figure out how this quest could be fixed. It is without a doubt the worst quest in the game. It is the worst quest in the game. This makes Jungle Giants look playable. Now, even taking all of that into consideration, that doesn't even figure in the fact that the imps are only 3/2, which on turn 7 means absolutely nothing. Turn 7, best case scenario. Turn 10, they're worthless. They're practically worthless. And Nether Portal takes up a minion slot on your board, so now you can only play 4 other minions because the imps are going to take up 2 spots. So you got 2 spots with these shitty imps, and then 1 spot with a Nether Portal. So, okay, you've got 4 other slots to play good cards, but you've probably discarded most of your good cards trying to play this. And on top of it, they don't even summon until the end of your turn. They should summon at the end of your opponent's turn so you can use them right away, but they don't. They summon at the end of your turn, which means your opponent has a turn to do something about it. So if you're playing a mage, okay, he drops a blizzard, your imps are dead. The Nether Portal did nothing. Okay, you end your turn, 2 imps spawn that have 2 health, and then he plays a volcanic potion, and your imps are dead. Oh, you're not playing against a mage, you're playing against a paladin? Okay, your turn ends, you get 2 imps with 2 health, and then he drops another Drake, and your imps are dead. Do you see the pattern here? The only way this card would ever be useful is if it summoned Doom Guards, 5/7 chargers that you could use right away, and it summoned them at the beginning of your turn. That's the only way this card would ever be good. Other possible fixes would be if you just completely got rid of Nether Portal and it summoned a big minion that recycled your discard pile back into your deck. That would allow you to regain value from all of the cards that you had busy discarded in order to play this. That's it. That's the only way I could see this card ever being worth a good goddamn. And there's no way Blizzard can fix this. Without massively changing this, it's not going to happen. Like what they like to do is they like to release cards that can, other cards that can tweak this. So like, for example, maybe they would have a card that would say, if you discard this card, put it back in your hand and then discard it again so it counts as a double discard. Or they might say something like, if this card is discarded, put it into play and then put another copy into your hand so that you could infinitely cycle discards and still give it. Even in that case, this quest is too slow, the reward is too weak, and the mechanics of it, they're terrible. I thought, like, I was so stoked. I was so stoked. I was like, I can't wait. Disco Warlock is going to be amazing. The discard mechanic is going to be really enforced. You're going to get 2 minions every turn no matter what, blah, blah, blah. They can't do anything to stop your minions. Your imp army is going to swarm them. Yeah, but it's shitty imps, and they don't swarm because they're so easily killed. This was, without a doubt, the worst prediction I made. I was so excited for it, and it ended up just being total shit. So that is going to be the end of my review of not review, I'm sorry. My look back at some of the predictions I made. Now, I looked at 15 cards, and even some of these cards that I was wrong on, I wasn't far off. Maybe I missed one thing, or maybe I misvalued one or two things. They weren't all colossal, astounding, super failures like this one was. But I think this is really important that we take the time and look at this and recognize our faults and recognize our mistakes, because with Knights of the Frozen Throne coming out soon, we are going to be getting another list of cards to look at, and we're going to be looking at what might be shaping the meta and what might be changing the meta. The cards they've shown so far have not been impressive to me. None of the 3 or 4 cards they've shown I thought were very good. But I don't know. For me, this has been a real learning experience, going back and looking at cards that I thought were good or bad and then turned out to be the opposite, because I'm going to go into reviewing Knights of the Frozen Throne cards with a real different outlook now. I have to really look at the entire set as a whole and not just cards individually. Not just what cards are currently in the meta, but how the new cards are going to change the meta. And that's something I didn't do for the Ungoro expansion. So there hasn't been a lot of chat, but I'd really like to thank everyone who stopped by. I will be going back to a more normal format of Rhevs Palaver, where it's me chilling and talking to someone else next week. But like I said, I wanted to do a solo podcast like this for a long, long time. And I mean, on the normal night. I know I've done podcasts on nights when, I didn't really have anything else going on. But this was fun. Oh, thank you, Chikara fan, for stopping by. So, as always, I'm going to see if I can find someone to drop a host on. So, if you would be so kind, at the end of my stream, just go on over to whoever it is we throw our host onto, and just give him a big what's up. And we'll see if we can't find someone who's playing something interesting. Oh, here we go. We're gonna host someone that Rock and Rage actually hosted, and was very kind, very nice person. So when I go offline, I'm gonna drop a host on days like this. Do me a favor, just stop by and be like, hey, what's up from Dose Rev? And I will be back tomorrow. I don't know what I'm gonna play yet. I haven't decided. Maybe some Final Fantasy 14. Definitely some PUBG, because as you guys know, I'm super addicted to PUBG right now. And, of course, as I said, next Monday, I will be back with a normal Rhevs Palaver where I'm talking to a guest, not just my own stupid self. So thank you all so much for stopping by, and I hope to see you all again real soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.